What's up, guys? Ron Harris here, MD Online Editor. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If you like the video, smash the like button. Hit that notification bell in that corner thing so you know when we have new content. We have great new content coming out all the time. Check it all out on this channel. Now I want to talk about something that's very, very pertinent, very timely. Today's Black Friday shopping day, but it's the day after Thanksgiving. This is the day when a lot of people in the United States, and I think around the world, around this time, start getting fat. This is, I did this myself, so believe me, I'm not judging. I'm speaking from a great deal of personal experience where I used to start getting fat end of October, early November. I'd be in good shape, decent shape during the summertime in the early fall. But once fall kicked in, man, especially once we got into like November, especially once we got toward the end, Thanksgiving, that was it. From Thanksgiving to past New Year's and into like February, I would put on anywhere from 30 to 40, about 30 pounds. So I used to start my bulk, my off season, somewhere around like, I don't know, 220, pretty good shape at 220, abs and everything. And I used to end up around 240, 245. So yeah, it was about 20, 25 pounds, but it was pure fat. I wasn't gaining muscle. And it's so easy to go down this slippery slope of allowing yourself to get fat, especially when you're looking at yourself every day and you can't really see these insidious gains of body fat creeping up. I used to always have a reality check around New Year's. I remember, New Year's we'd usually go out, dress up, and go to a club or something like that and take pictures. And that's when I could not even, Christmas Eve would be a similar situation, but New Year's Eve, I'd see my face and it was like like a pumpkin, just perfectly round, cheeks like a chipmunk. Couldn't even suck my gut in, it was so big. If you see in the thumbnail picture, that was a good example of what my winter bulk would look like, because that was the Arnold Classic. I think it was 2014, with the lovely Crystal Faye in the picture. And I was probably about 245 there. Gut so big, I literally, if I tried to suck it in, it barely even moved. It was so big. And this was a process that I repeated over and over again many times until one day I realized, as I was getting older especially, I said, this isn't healthy to keep doing this yo-yo up and down with my body weight, and especially where I'm just putting on fat. And, it hampers your performance. It's bad on so many levels. For one thing, let's start with cosmetics, because we're all vain as bodybuilders. It looks horrible. I mean, I know for me, my face can get very round and puffy looking, moon face, and everyone be making all these comments on my pictures like D-ball face and this and that. It was just fat and water. It was a disgusting look. So cosmetically, you look soft and puffy and bloated. Not one line in your body. You can't see the separation between any muscle groups. I always say if you completely lose sight of your abs, like you can't see your abs at all, you got way too fat as a bodybuilder. You've crossed the line and then some. So next thing would be performance. I'm leaving health for last because I know a lot of you, especially younger guys, health is like, not that concerned. But the next thing we want to look at is performance. So I know you guys realize you've had personal experience with trying to train something like legs or back when you're all bulked up and fat. It's not easy. You don't have the wind, you don't have the stamina, the breath. You can't do things like supersets. It might take you way longer to recover from a set of squats or deadlifts, something like that, where you're doing some real deep breathing. And sometimes you're not even going to get the reps that you should be getting because your wind, your ability to take in oxygen is going to kick out long before your muscles give out on you. So right there, you're hampering your gains, not helping your gains. And of course, then we got to look at health. It's not healthy to be overweight. We know this. It increases your risk for so many things: heart disease, diabetes, all kinds of things. The risks are amplified when you're overweight. And whether or not you have a ton of muscle underneath doesn't really matter. Your heart still is having to work extra hard. And eating shit food, eating a lot of junk, which a lot of us do, because I used to have this mentality in the off season that anything I eat is going to turn to gains, it's going to turn to muscle. And of course, that was complete delusion. Of course, it didn't. That's impossible. But I did believe that. Now, granted, if you're on something like growth hormone, if you're on growth hormone, you're going to be spared a lot of the fat gaining that other people who are not using growth hormone are going to experience. Growth hormone does keep you leaner for sure, even at like 2 or 3 units a day. I use a day. Very effective as a fat burner. I've been off it now for a few weeks. I'm planning to start up once I get on with Frontline Alternative, hopefully very soon, a legit TRT place. But I'm really making this video because I've made that mistake so many times where I allowed myself to get fat in the off season in the name of bulking, in the name of making gains. And at the end of the day, I realized I'm not really making gains. I mean, I'm getting fatter. I might gain a little bit of muscle, but it's not an acceptable ratio to gain, say, 8 pounds of muscle and 8 or 9 pounds of fat and 1 or 2 pounds of muscle. That's an unacceptable ratio. You shouldn't be. At the most, 50-50, I think, is fair. If you can gain 2 pounds of muscle and put on 2 or 3 pounds of fat, you're doing okay. But if the scale is tipped too far in the other direction, you're not doing okay. Let's go and see if you guys have anything to say. Maybe you just want to tell me all the crap you ate yesterday at Thanksgiving. Because I know I ate. I chowed down. Wow, no comments. No comments. I guess you guys are all out shopping. So I guess if there's no comments, because I know if there's comments, probably just going to get into like the Olympia predictions and stuff like that. We are getting into bipolar mom and former adult probation officer says feeling fat right now with all the vacation food. Yeah, I mean vacations, especially cruise ships. I'm all set with cruises. I've been on, I don't know, 5, 6, 7. I'm all set with cruises. Maybe someday, years and years from now, but I'm all set because there's nothing else to do. You're trapped on a boat. You do have excursions every day. We can go ashore, but for the most part, you're stuck on a boat. There's shows and stuff at night, but it's the eating. Your day revolves around lying around a pool in the middle of the boat and eating, just, buffets. And most people will gain anywhere from 5 to 15 pounds on a cruise. It's average. So, other types of vacations aren't as dangerous because, you're running around and maybe you actually will skip meals. I know I've been on a lot of vacations where I'm missing meals and I come back lighter than when I left. But I think every time I've gone on a cruise, I always come back heavier. I think most people will have that experience. Manuel, have I ever tried SARMs? No. Which one? Doses? No. I've never tried SARMs. I figured out early on from other people that SARMs are supposed to be, they were heralded as having all the advantages of steroids, all the positive effects and none of the negative effects, which turned out to be completely inaccurate. They still shut down your own testosterone production. You'll still get things like excess estrogen. All the bad things from steroids still happen with SARMs. If they ever come out with something that's perfectly safe and just builds muscle, that would be amazing. But you can guarantee if these things were as effective at what they do as they're supposed to be, Big Pharma would have snapped them up and you wouldn't be able to buy them unless you went to a drugstore and paid your copay or your full price for the prescription. A lot of money. Big Pharma, if there's any money to be made, these big pharmaceutical companies, they don't miss a beat, believe me. They're always on the lookout for ways to make more billions and billions of dollars of profit. So if SARMs were all that in a bag of chips, you wouldn't be able to get them. You'd have to get a prescription for them. Let's see what else. Nice guy. I'm average around 1-2 pounds gain a month during bulk. Yeah, it's good to take pictures. If you have any way to measure your body fat, calipers, or if you have access to hydrostatic tanks or a bod pod or something like that, it's not a bad idea. Once every like 2 to 3 weeks, get your body fat tested because you want to see your body composition and how it's changing. So if you put on 20 pounds during an off season, that'd be great if it was 20 pounds of muscle. It wouldn't be great if your body fat went from, I'm not the best mathematician, but let's say your body fat went from 12% at the beginning of your off season to 20%. That's a lot of fat that you gained. So if you have a means to test your body fat on a regular basis during your off season bulking, I would do that. I would take advantage of that because then you always know what's going on. And like I said, body fat is a sneaky, insidious thing. It creeps up on you because you see yourself every day. You're not going to notice yourself really getting fatter. Maybe somebody else will if they haven't seen you in a month or two. And, are they going to tell you? Maybe not. They're not going to say, dude, you're getting fat. Maybe you have one of those some honest friends that would do that. But most people would just be like, they'll say you look great or whatever. You're looking big. And then behind your back, they'll say, man, you seen Ron? He's fat. He's all bloated and disgusting looking. Yeah, people do talk behind your back, guys. Let's see what else we got. Bipolar mom from adult probation officer, Louisiana food. Cajun food is fattening as fuck. There's a lot of ethnic foods. Most ethnic foods are fattening. What ethnic group just eats like chicken breasts and, plain baked potatoes and plain rice? Most of them have like lot of butter, oil. You know, the Mediterranean foods are typically not that bad, but then you have, you know, Italian food is loaded with butter and heavy sauces and things like that. Renaud, do you have Samson finishing top 3 at the Olympia this year after Hadi and Rami? What about Nick Walker? What about, jeez. I wrote it on the back of this. I know this is amateur. There's 35 guys qualify for the Olympia. I believe we're going to see 28 or 29 on stage because we've already seen a few drop out. Sean Claria is going to the 212. Kuklow's out. Regan's out. Nathan's out. And I believe Angel Calderon is going to do 212 and not the open. So that's 30 guys. And let's just say we lose another couple. It's quite possible that we lose another couple between now and then. But yeah, so we'll probably have 20 or 29. So we'll do more Olympia predictions and stuff like that as we get a little closer to the show. The Olympia judging is 3 weeks from tonight. So we have 21 days. It's getting close, man. Bipolar mom. Blessing is questionable. We'll have to see how he is on stage. I think you have to see how everyone looks on stage. You can't just assume, you know, things go wrong. Things go wrong. People spill over. They overcarb, undercarb. Sometimes we see people looking phenomenal a week, 2, 3 weeks out, and then at the show, it's like, eh. Other people might look a little watery now, and you're like, oh, they're not going to be in great shape. Like, there's a couple I won't even name that to me, I'm like, But I wouldn't be surprised if they showed up just shredded because I've seen it go both ways so many times. Hamza Al-Bakhar, do you think William coming 100% can beat 100% good Brandon? If they're both at 100%, no, because Brandon at 85% beat 100% William at the Arnold. Brandon does have a better, more pleasing shape and structure to him. Bonac has got all kinds of thick muscle. He gets crazy ripped. But yeah, I mean, we've already seen the judges do that, so I can't imagine it's going to go the other way. If they're both at 100%, Brandon wins. That's why Brandon was Mr. Olympia. And that year that he won, William was second to him. That's how it went that year. Raymond Jones, did your daughter and son-in-law visit for Thanksgiving? No, they stayed in Miami. Unfortunately, I missed them. We FaceTimed and everything, but no. Renaud, well, because Walker looked like Rami's son, last Olympia in the most muscular pose, head-to-head, remember. I wouldn't say that. I don't think Nick gets totally outmassed by Rami, really, at all. I mean, Nick was about 245, 250, somewhere thereabouts. Rami was like 300. But you got to remember, Rami's a good 4 inches taller, too. So size-wise, they're not that different, really. Rami's just so wide and he's taller. It's an imposing sight to see. Derek Doss, I have a cold, forgive me. Akeem will shock the world and be top 5. Could happen. He was 6th a couple years ago. That's the thing is, there's so many people. We're not even like Lunsford. No one's talking about Derek Lunsford. You don't think he's going to be top 5, top 3? I could see that. You know, I could see this contest going so many ways. There's so many incredible athletes. I do believe this is the best Olympia we've seen probably since, like the Ronnie and Jay days. Yeah, we haven't had this. Maybe even better. Maybe it might be more stacked than that. This is the record-breaking number for the Olympia. The Olympia's never had this many competitors ever on stage. I did a whole video about that. We're definitely breaking the record, even if like 3 or 4 more guys drop out of the show. It's still going to beat the record of 1991 when there was 27 guys. That was my first Olympia. RPM Santos 87. Nick Walker had a rough year mentally. I think he's going to drop a few places. Yeah, but now he's in Las Vegas spending the last 5 weeks. He just bought a house in Vegas. He's training at the Dragon's Lair at Flex Lewis gym every day. I think he's got his head on straight. Yeah, I think he went through some issues earlier in the year. He changed coaches, went to Dom, super sliced. He went back to Matt Jansen. I think he's right on track. He looks great from all the pictures I've seen. I would not count Nick out for 1 minute. I mean, there's nobody on that list I'd really like count out and say, nah, they suck. They're gonna, But we are gonna see a lot of people that are very good and in great condition get 3rd and 4th call out. When you have 30 or almost 30 men in a contest, you can't have more than 6, 7 at the most on stage in a call out. That 7's a big call out. Usually it's 5 or 6. So do the math. You might have like 5th call out. Imagine being the last call out. There were 5 call outs, but it could very well happen. And those guys, I promise you, some of those guys in the last call out, they'll be shredded. They'll be huge. But these are the best physiques in the world. You put them all together in one stage, and what are you going to do? Somebody's got to be first, second, third, fourth, all the way down the line. Judging, I would not want to be a judge. I think they have a hell of a job. Man, any guys are going to volunteer how much weight you gained yesterday? Excuse me. Oof. Yeah, a little sniffly. Still trained legs today. Yeah. So I don't think people, getting back to the original subject before you guys get into the Olympia again, I don't think too many of us slack on training. I think most of us love to train. I think where we slack is the diet. Obviously, we eat a lot more junk around this time of year because, especially if you're in a workplace environment, not everybody works at home like me. There's a lot of cookies and cakes and treats that are like in the break room for everyone to eat. And it's hard to walk past that stuff, and it's free, and just say, nah. And, I know because I grew up a long time ago in the 70s with a mom who was adamant that you don't waste food. Wasting food is a massive sin. It's one of the worst things you can do. There's starving kids in China, she used to tell us. Like, oh no, these poor Chinese kids. But we didn't waste food. We got in a lot of trouble. We got our asses reamed out. That doesn't sound good. We got in trouble if we wasted food. So it's hard for me to pass up junk, even though I know I don't need it. I do now because I'm a little more disciplined in the off season than I was in many years past. It only took me till age, I didn't start taking the off season more seriously and being more disciplined until probably like 47, 48 years old. And I haven't gotten that fat since, and I won't ever again. Nick Walker, rough year. What's your expectation for Samson? I think he could be as high as 4th, 5th, could be as low as 9th or 10th. I mean, this is a tough show. And when I say that, I'm not knocking Samson. I think Samson looks fantastic. What a physique. Andrew Jack looks fantastic. Nick Walker, Hunter, William Bonac, Derek Lynch, Hottie. Oh, God, there's so many great physiques in this show. It's crazy. Nice guy, do you or MD ever cover powerlifting? No, we don't. I'm sorry. There's so many divisions now we barely even cover, when we go to the shows, we cover every division, but in the magazine, we still have a print magazine. We focus more on, even when we do the contest coverage, we do focus more on men's open bodybuilding, 212 bodybuilding, classic physique. Those are the 3 most popular divisions number-wise that we look at the numbers from the views and clicks and things like that. That's what gets the most attention. That's what that's where most of the interest is. So we focus on that. Eddie Skitty, I like to tell myself that I have an Olympia physique, but I'm just deep into my off season. Vlad Suhurochko says, Jihan Amroli. Yeah, Vlad looks great. I don't see him in the top 10 just because this is a tough show. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying any of these guys can't make top 10. But if you have 30 guys in the show, that's 20 guys that will not be in the top 10. It's just a numbers game. There's so many great people in the show. Vlad looks great. 25-year-old Ukrainian beast. But yeah, it's going to be tough for Vlad. It's going to be tough. He doesn't have the prettiest shape. He's got all kinds of size. He gets crazy ripped, but it's going to be tough, man. This is the elite of the elite of the elite, the best of the best. Like that great Taekwondo movie. Do you think Brett will win the Spain show? Brett is a heavy favorite for the Spain show, but I think it's going to be between Brett Wilkin, Theo Leguerre, Andrea Presti, Andrea Muzzy. You got Jan Turek, who was second in Prague, Kokani Bella, who was second at the Europa Pro, third in Prague. You have some great competitors in this show. The Big Man Weekend, which is a qualifier for next year's Olympia, not this one. Whoever wins this, say Brett wins, it qualifies him for the 2023 Mr. Olympia, not the Olympia that's happening this year. A lot of people seem confused about that. It's very strange to have a qualifying show for next year's Olympia taking place before this year's Olympia, I know. Since COVID, the schedule's gotten all screwed up. It's very hard to predict the way it used to be. Muzzy looks great. Presti looks great. Theo Leguerre looks great. Is better than Presti, I guess. Presti's beaten Muzzy most of the time, I believe, when they faced off. I believe he's beaten them most of the time. No, let's see. He beat him at the Mr. Big Evolution Portugal earlier this year. That's where Andrea Presti picked up his Olympia qualification this year. Was he in Orlando? Was he in Puerto Rico? They've done a lot of different shows. They haven't done too many of the same shows, but they are very close. But probably give the nod to Presti. I like his physique just a little bit better. Mario Ultimate Art, what's up? So, yeah, man, I knew this was good. I knew this would get into Olympia talk because the Olympia is coming up, and we're all excited about the Olympia. I'm very excited. It's coming back to Vegas. I was just in Vegas for Halloween, but I wouldn't mind going back. So yeah, Planet Hollywood. We've never had the Olympia at Planet Hollywood. It was at the Orleans for many years. Before that, it was at the Mandalay Bay. So it's going to be, the competition parts are going to be mostly at the, God, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, we don't need to get into all that right now. For me, sometimes I feel, RPM Santos, for me, sometimes I feel a bit depressed and let go of my diet for a day or two. And after I feel more depressed, end up screwing up my diet for 2 or 3 weeks, no training, end up gaining 5 pounds. Yeah, it's a slippery thing. Like I said, you screw up on your diet and then you feel guilty. And then sometimes you get depressed and you eat even more crap. It's that downward spiral, that slippery slope. That's why you got to really try to eat clean. My thing is I'll eat a clean meal, and if I want to have a little treat at the end of it, a cookie or two, a little cookie. Don't eat like a whole bag of cookies. Don't eat the whole box of donuts. Try to really have some discipline and limit yourself. You can get away with a certain amount of it if you're training hard and keeping up your cardio. That's another thing. Keep up your cardio. Don't stop doing cardio in the off season. It's not going to hurt your gains. If anything, it's going to keep your stamina going. It's going to help control the body fat a little bit too. It's good for your heart and lungs. So don't stop doing cardio, guys. Can Brett please stop to eat the Olympia within the next 5 years? Yeah, why not? Johan Amarola, is that because of his tattoo? We kind of favor Presti. It is a cool tattoo, but no, I'm talking about the physique, not the ink. Is Steve Kukla competing? No. He has a new wife, and they are. I don't know if she's pregnant yet, but they're trying to get pregnant. Steve wants to be a dad, so he has foregone his Olympia invitation for this year. Mario, I'm on a diet. Wish me luck to resist the temptations. Good luck, Mario. Reno, is it fair that Hunter Labrada has pec tears and costs him points at the shows? It's not that bad. If it was like all the way across the pec, like a huge dent, yeah, it would. We've seen pec tears that were that unsightly, that they were that distracting. His is very minor. It's not, to me, it doesn't take away from his physique. I cut the sugar. Good. Yeah, sugar is the enemy, dude. The more sugar we eat, the only really time I will say sugar is good for you is right after training. Like I have a whey protein isolate shake, and I have sugary cereal. Like today I had 50 grams of protein from Isolite. Is it not Isolite? The Redcon's isoprotein. God, my mind is going blank on me. And then I had a cup of Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah, but you don't want to do that all the time. Kevin Ghost, Ron, you think Andrea Shaw, the best woman bodybuilder, do you think any woman could beat her? Right now, no. Right now, she's pretty much unstoppable. I mean, she just picked up another win at the Wings of Strength. Picked up a good chunk of change and a nice new vehicle. Manuel, have you ever used Accutane? No, I never had bad acne. I had a couple zits here and there. Food in their stomach. Like I remember Jose Raymond, a good friend of mine, he used to not eat much at all on contest day because he wanted his stomach to be flat because he had a shorter torso, and a distended gut on him would have been disastrous. So he barely ate on contest day. He was always a little flat when he competed, but that was his winning look. No sound. Oh, it's all good now? Yeah, I mean, it's just my phone. In your opinion, was the best cardio machine for cardio with costing your gains? I think any cardio machine that gets your heart rate is fine. I know some people will tell you the step mill is probably the most dangerous as far as losing leg size and fullness. Yeah, I would agree with that because it's hard, it's tough. Anything that, if it feels like your legs are getting pumped, like you're having a leg workout, don't use that much resistance. Cut the resistance down on the machine. If your legs are getting pumped and you feel like you're training your legs, you probably are going to burn some leg muscle, some muscle mass in your legs. Antoine Vallant, yeah, he's also doing the show. He's in the Olympia. Do open guys resort to laxatives to keep stomach down? I mean, if they're backed up, if they can't poop, But, you know, I don't get into all that with them. But yeah, I mean, if they're not pooping and they need to have their stomach flat, a laxative would be a good idea. Who is dark horse for Olympia? I'd say it's Lunsford. Like, what if Lunsford wins? What if? Stranger things have happened, guys. Don't think it's... I know you're saying that's crazy. What are you smoking? No. It could happen. It could happen. Rami's awesome. Rami's amazing. Don't get me wrong, guys. But Derek, I mean, you asked me for a dark horse. I'd go with Derek. He's not missing anything. Do you guys prefer posing to classic rock songs or current music? Depends on the person. Everyone's different. I agree on Derek Lunsford, Mario. Yeah. Derek's no joke. Derek is no joke. He's looking crazy right now. You know, his legs used to be kind of a weaker point on him, and they're huge now. He's got massive quads now. Did you follow Nick Walker's career before he turned pro, since you guys lived near each other? No, we didn't live near each other. He was in New Jersey. New Jersey's about a 5-hour drive south from me. I wouldn't call it close. I wasn't even aware of him until maybe a year before he turned pro. I was hearing the name and saying, oh, this kid could be pretty good. But no, not until he really turned pro and then did Chicago pro in Atlanta, I think it was. And he got fourth. Yeah, and then I was like, wow, this kid's freaking pretty damn good. All right, guys. Well, I think we covered the initial topic pretty well. We'll talk more about the Olympia, of course. I'm going to be starting to grab a lot of interviews with competitors and, you know, get some retired legends and get their predictions, things like that. Got a lot of great content in mind coming up soon. Can you open qualified men's open competitor list? You want me to post it? Go to MrOlympia.com, MrOlympia.com, and there's a tab at the top that says qualified. Click on that, gives you the whole list for every division. You can click on each division and see everyone that's qualified. And Classic has 65 guys qualified right now. 65. Woo! It's going to be a long, long judging. Once you cut calorie beginning with cut and keep lowering. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna walk the dog. You know, Branch the Buppa is my pit bull mix, my little boy. So appreciate you guys watching. Please check out all the other content on this channel. It's Friday. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Take care of yourselves, and don't eat too much crap. Talk to you later, guys. Bye bye.